Hey, everyone, what's going on? I will be taking some time today to work through the block renderer that I've been using recently on projects, and it's something that I have a tutorial video coming out for soon, but I've heard so many people talking about how they'd like to see it, and so I will have a detailed tutorial about it soon, but I figured it needs to happen for this project anyway, so I might as well show it here, throw it up there, and start using it. I'm also going to start working on our industry pages that I've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, where in our navigation we have an industry dropdown where we can then choose, like if we were a business owner and we needed to see, who does this person service, like what industry does this company work in, we would have a page like that. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like quite yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be a new collection. It definitely needs to be a new route. I think there's a parent page selector in our collection. So we'll look at all of that when we get there. But why don't we start with our render blocks component. So I am going to share a different screen. Whoops. Let's take a look real quick. Screen share. That wasn't supposed to be shown. It's just dashboard stuff, not anything that's really pertinent to anything. All right, so now I can share my screen, but I'm also going to move my camera probably down. Yeah, and then I'm going to be looking at my screen over here. So that should look good. All right, so let's go ahead and spin up our server, and then we don't really need to do anything there yet, but we can come down to our show blocks, and we're going to change the name of this. So actually, we're not going to have our server live when we do this, so because I think it's going to break something. So we'll rename, and we'll rename it render blocks instead, hit refactor. And then in here is where we're going to make all of our changes. So the first thing is we do have all of our components that we need, so that makes sense. So we're good there. We'll eventually add a feed, so I'm going to leave that there as well. And it looks like all of these should be shortened, right? Yeah. So it should actually even just be this. No. Weird. Hold on. Messing around with stuff already. So, yeah, it can be shortened to the @ but this is in the blocks. Oh, it's because I'm in components, not in blocks. That was weird. Okay, so that's not going to work like I wanted it to, and I'm not going to spend a bunch of time replacing these, so I'll just do that. Place all. If anything breaks, I can fix it. All good. All right. So source @ it's all the same. All right. So let's now just get rid of this. So what I did initially is I had a switch statement that would go by the block type. This is just something that I use to get by. It's not exactly the best way to do this. So I'm going to show a better way to do this. That I've been using in new projects as well, as I think it has been shown in the payload templates. So I think this is a great way to do this. So we're going to create a new const called block components. We're going to set that equal to an object where we're going to take in all of our types here. Really all of our blocks. So we have content, no media, and we're going to use as much as we can the actual slug that we have for each of these block types, because we're going to search for the block type when we get to the actual mapping function. So we'll work with that in a second. So we'll do content, no media, and if I need to adjust any of these slugs, I'll of course go back and do that as well. So then we have content with media. And so I already think that these slugs aren't right. But we'll see. All right. So we'll leave it how it is. And then we'll have our card section. We'll have our CTA content with map. All right, so my IDE is starting to catch it. Content with video. Client logos. It stopped catching it. Shouldn't have jinxed it. All right, FAQ. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check some of these slugs here. Okay, yeah, I got a couple things that I need to fix. All right, so then we have sponsored section, steps with icons, summary, table of contents, and then we got our form block. Okay, so I think that's everything. So we are going to go into each of these components, and we're going to take away the default export. This is going to break some stuff very clearly, but that's going to be easily fixed with this. Yeah, all right, so this is right. Yes, okay, so let's do that real quick with all of these. I don't know what this error is. Oh, well, we don't need that. This can be shortened. Just clean it up a little bit as we go, instead of, you know, dedicating whole videos to actually cleaning. We can do it as we go. All right, so content with media. Then we've got our card section. CTA. Content with map. So here's one where I think things got weird. Content with map. Cool. And then content with video, which I don't, no, this project we do have video. Okay, so that, go ahead and shorten these. And then remove that. All right, we came here for the the default. Then we need to do content with video. All right, client logos in here. Let's actually do it this way. And that way we can just do all of this once. And then as we go, it'll actually fix. Yep, perfect. Exactly what I wanted. And so this probably needs to be client logos. Yep. Sponsored section. Steps. Steps with icons. Can get rid of all that. Perfect. Oop, can get rid of this and this. Perfect. Then summary. And then the last one, we'll fix all those there in a second. Table of contents. We don't want defaults. All right, so sponsored section. Oh, if I could spell section. Then we got steps with icons, summary, table of contents. Perfect. So now we got our block components set. Next step is to now actually create our render blocks function. So we're going to leave this here just so we have something to look at, but we can do our export const render blocks, because that's what we're going to name this. And then we're going to use React types, which is going to take an object on the inside there. We're going to take blocks, and then we'll use page. I think layout is what this is called. So I think we need to import, yes, we need to import our page type, and then probably type page and posts. Wrong. From at payload types. I meant post, yes. Okay. So we now have our page type and our post type, and so we need to define the types of each collection that we want to use in our render blocks. So we've got page, I'm trying to remember, I think it's content, which is what this is, and then post, which should also be content. And so we're going to have this error here until we actually return something. So you'll see a bunch of errors popping up as we go, but I promise they will go away after we're done. So we're going to set that equal to props, and then open up our object there and take out our blocks from props using destructuring, not deconstruction, destructuring. And then we're going to check if there are blocks. So if there's blocks and the blocks is an array, and if it is an array, it needs to be greater than 0 in length. Then we come down here to check if has blocks, and then we'll return our fragment where we're going to map out our blocks now. So the fragment is there just as a holder of the content. So it should render as either nothing or as an empty div, or a div in general. So yes. All right. And so we're using index. If I would do this right, talking and typing is difficult. Here, let me actually redo that. So blocks.map. And we're going to have block, and yeah, I'll just use I for index. And then we'll do that now. All right. So yeah, we're going to use index here just in case there is an, oh, hi there from Chile. Oh, thanks for saying that. It's very nice. I'm glad that people are getting a lot out of these videos that I've been doing. So my whole goal was really to make the PayloadCMS documentation much more beginner friendly and much more approachable. And it's been a lot of trial and error to get there. So I'm glad that people are really learning a lot and getting something out of it. So anyway, what we're doing now is we're creating a render blocks component, which I know has been a hot request for me. So here it is. We'll have a fine-tune, an actual tutorial in the next couple of weeks. Still working on it, but it will be out soon, which will be more streamlined, more straightforward. So, but for now, this will do. I think this will get a lot of people started. Anyway, so yes, we're taking the index here. So we've got block and index, and the index is going to be important because we do actually need it just in case a block doesn't have an ID for any reason. All right, so now we got our const, and we're going to take block type. So again, another destructuring, yes, block type out of block. And so again, these errors are going to go away, but you just got to power right through it. So then we need to check if the block type, or if there is a block type, and that block type is in our block components object that we just created up here. So if that is true, we then are going to return a block that's going to search in that block components for our block type. So that will return out of here the actual component from the block components object. So if that, or that will then be created if there is a block, then we're going to return, if I could type, a div. We need the key of index, which is I for us, which is a requirement of React. It's not anything payload or NextJS specific. And then we're going to use block, and then we've got our block here, and all of that looks good. So now we should be able to actually get rid of our show blocks thing here, which is just a weird switch statement that I got. And then we also want to make sure that if there are no blocks, or yeah, if there's no blocks, or if there are no blocks, let's just start there. We need to return null because we need to return something at each level. So if block, or if block type, whatever, I'm just going to type in return null. I'm trying too hard to explain here. And then under the fragment, we'll return null again. That way, nothing breaks. We've got our render blocks. Now we actually need to use it because since I removed our show blocks component, now render blocks needs to take its place. And so if I were to load up our site, nothing is going to change. So let's, or nothing is going to show. Everything changes. So I'll go to our local host. I might even get an error because show blocks does not exist. Yep. So show blocks is not exported. Expected a string for built-in components. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to replace everywhere we had show blocks with render blocks. So in my IDE, I can do that. No, that was right. And we're going to look for show blocks. And we're going to import render blocks from there instead. So then here, we can do render blocks. And then render blocks. Then render blocks. And so we can refresh this. Ideally, this just works. Oh, it does. Look at that. Kind of works. So we will do some troubleshooting then. So first things first, we do have our hero, so that's good to see. What's this error here? Cannot access form block before initialization. So what am I doing wrong? It's always something. This is why I made a streamlined tutorial of this instead of trying to figure it out in real time. So now we just need to figure out why none of our blocks are showing. And it could be really just our whatchamacallits here. Our properties are just wrong. So let's take a look at content no media. We'll start there. So that's going to be in our blocks. We've got content no media and we have a config. So if we take our slug, that's correct. Let's see what happens if we use the interface name instead, which is content no media props, which I don't think should do anything. It does not. All right. So let's take a look at what we need to do to make this work. All right, so next let's make sure that our layout field is actually right. So I'm not sure if this is correct. So if we then go to our page component, our collection, so we've got our pages, we can go to our config, which we should change that. So all of our blocks are in here. There's the content there. We've got tabs. So we have our hero. Then we have content. So that is correct then. And it does take blocks. Right. So then let's take a look at render blocks, where it's actually used, which would be here. So then so I don't need to map anything here. So let's do render blocks, and then we're going to take in our blocks as, I think it's just content, but we'll double check here. Make it self-closing. Content, content, content. Page blocks is content, content. So then I can just do that page blocks variable there. What is this? Cannot access form block before initialization. So let's take away form block real quick, just to make sure that this actually works. All right, so there are our blocks. Now we need to figure out why the form block isn't working, and we need to figure out this error here. And we see type null is not assignable to type. The expected type comes from property blocks. Okay, so let's make sure we did our nulls the correct way. So if has block, so if block, then return null. Fragment, return null. Okay, so all of this should be right. I don't know what this error that we're getting is. But let's take a look. Oh, let's see. So I think part of the issue is I just have this. Page blocks, content. Okay. So let's see. We've got our... Oh, we have content right there. So I don't even need to use page blocks. I can just do content.content. So it's still getting null. Okay, so let's even... I see that... Content. So what if I just do a good old type, or not even type check, just a check. Make sure that content.content exists. If it does, all right. Gotta love the struggle during live coding. There's always a struggle, right? Page blocks. So type assertion doesn't quite work right there, but that's okay. So it's fine. I'm cool with the error. I'll figure it out, and we'll just use page blocks for now, even though this should be working. So this is more of a TypeScript thing and more of like, I don't know TypeScript that well. I'm still learning, still getting stronger with it. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but if we take a look at our page, we should be able to just do const, so if we do like something like page layout or something like that, we do our page and then set it, no, it wouldn't be docs, so I just need content.content. And then what if I do page layout here? And then page.content.content. It's not assignable to type. So it's just null, that's not. All right, well, let's figure out the form builder, or the form block. So this might have something to do with our client. And so here I might want to look at documentation. So that's what the documentation is there for. Let's go payload, and it's not even going to be documentation. I'm going to be looking at the website template, and I'll pull it up here in a second. Website, is this the template? Yes. All right. So here we've got documentation. And here I know that they have a form because this is where I learned how to do it. So we need to look in their components, into their blocks, blocks, and then render blocks. So the form block is there, yes. There's no use client. So all of this is right. I wonder if this has something to do with it. So let's take a look. Don't think it should though. Let's just add. What can I do? 0, then this. Yeah, I didn't think so. So that doesn't really apply to my project. So yeah, blocks, page content. So then let's go over to our form config. And the form block, oh, that's the actual block. So here, yes, there's use client on the form block. And I've got use client on mine as well. So that shouldn't matter either. Okay, so this could have something to do with my version of payload, because I'm on an older version. So we will look at this in a little bit. So I'm going to take another look at there. And of course, this render blocks component is going to look familiar because this is similar to what I have. Form block at blocks form component at blocks form component. Okay, so that's right. Form block, maybe. Oh, was that it? I don't know. I don't see the form, but it did load up again, so don't know what that means. So it must be this. So form block, and we can double check that that's actually true by coming here and going to the config. And yes, the slug is lowercase. So we'll take a look into that issue in a little bit. I would like to use our form block, but for some reason it's just not working here. But all other blocks are. And if I go over to our blog, we'll fix these images. But I go into here. This doesn't have blocks. This one also doesn't have blocks. One of these has blocks. Future blog maybe? Alright, so it must be one of these. So I definitely have blocks in one of these. Let's figure out why we're not getting images here. So if we go over to our blog page, this is one place that we were not getting any images. So we'll take a look here. Okay, so this I just didn't fix. So this should be what content dot image dot image. No. Oh, featured dot content. And that should get the featured post back, and then we got our recent posts. I just didn't update the images here, so this was all already done. Blog, general date, featured content summary, recent posts, then post card. Then we can come in here and get our image right. So those should come back. Perfect. We go in. So we got all that back. So now we need to go into our blog slug. Take a look at what we got here. And I'm thinking about your question as I'm going, so if I'm not responding, that's why. I'm trying to figure out the best way to answer that. If I can, I'm not sure if I have a good recommendation for that yet. Because you could... Let me think on it some more. There are a couple of things that I think I would do. But again, I'm not sure if they'll work. I've never done anything like that. But we will take a look at it in a second. All right, so in our actual blog, we're good there. I've got my 2 top button that comes up here. Great. All right, so I need to look at our rich text renderer as well, because I don't think we have any blocks in here. So that's going to be in our converters. Then we have our index, which has our JSX converter. Perfect. So we actually are going to change tack a little bit. So we do still need to figure out the form builder. Don't worry. I'm going to write that down right now so I don't forget. I know that nobody else but me is worried about that. So let's take a look real quick at our... Oh, my brain is broken real quick. Okay, there it is. All right, so this is where I need to be. So we're still working on that. To do, we need to fix our... fix our form block. All right. So there's that. So we'll fix that. Now, the problem that we're seeing on our blogs here is that some of these do have blocks. I think actually one of them is all blocks, but none of our blocks are showing. I think it's this one. And the reason it's not showing is because in our JSX converters, we don't have a block converter. So we're going to make one. So what we're going to do is in our node types, we need to import all of the types for our blocks. So, no, yeah, I'll do it here. I was thinking of putting it into a separate file like I have the rest, but I think it makes sense here. So let's go ahead and start working on those types. We're going to need our serialized, so hard to spell, block node. And we're going to take in all of the types from the blocks that we want to use. So we've got our content with video props. We've got our, and we're going to use the union join here, content with map props. And let me give us a little more space to work with. So let's put that there, and then that there. Perfect. So then we need our content media props. And we're going to put the import type here. I do like to explicitly state that just to make things more clear and easier for me to understand. So we need CTA props. What else do we have? Blocks, blocks, blocks. We're going to have our card. I guess card section. I don't think it has props. Again, let's make some more space. Okay, card section, client. Logos, props. Oops. We'll take our time with this. All right. So we already have content, no media. We have content with... do we have content, no media? No. Content, no media props. Then we have CTAs, FAQ, props. I don't think I have anything for feed yet. Form block type. Is that right? Let's go look at the config. See our interface name. That's what I'm looking at here. It's just form block. Form block. Perfect. All right, so that should be everything. No, it's not even close. All right, so after form block, we have our pain point props, sponsored block props, steps props, steps with icons props. Lots of props, everybody. Lots of props. Lots of props. All right, and then stuff with icons, summary props, and table of contents props. So now I think that's everything. And the reason we did that is because we need all of these for our JSX renderer down here. And so looking at this now, it looks like a mess, which makes me really want to put this in another file, but I really just want to move forward with what we have now. So we're going to create a new JSX converter for our blocks. and we're going to pass in all of the slugs that we're going to use. So we'll just start from the top with what we have available. So CTA is going to take a node, and then we just pass in our CTA component. So we're going to have to pull in the component there, and then instead of block type, we're just going to delete that. And here, let's give us some more space here so you can see my code a little bit better. And we'll just take in node.fields, and then that one should be done. So I don't think I have any CTAs for our block here, but just in case, I'll refresh. We'll take a look. Nope. Okay. So then we'll just duplicate this. We need commas at the end. So before I duplicate this again, so we need this, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more times. 13 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't even know if this is the best way to do that, so we're going to run with it. So content with video. And then this is going to be content with video, and we're always going to make sure that we're pulling in from the component. So luckily my IDE helps me with that, and I'm thankful. So next is going to be content with map. And you can see I'm getting type hints as I go as well, so that's the point of us putting in all of these types. Now I don't have to guess what the slug is, it's just there for me to look at. Wonderful. So content with map. We'll then pull in content with map. Again, the component. Then we got content with media. Whoops. Content with media. Wrong. Content with media from the component. Oh, we can get rid of this too. So under content with media, we got CTA, which we already made. So then card section. Card section. Then we're going to have card. I assume, nope. Is that not right? Card. Well, hold on. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second because it may just be a matter of a shared name. Yes, okay, so it's taking from the UI, which is clearly not what I want. So we're going to import card from, so what is this actually supposed to be? Card section. So then you see we have like a collision here. So we want to make sure that we're able to use card section both as a type and as an import, or as a component. So we're just going to do, so card section as, and then we'll do card section props just to match everything else, and then change this to be props. And now I can come down here and do card section. There we go. So after our card section props, we then have client logos. So then we'll do client logos, component, then content, no media, content, no media. Then we have FAQ block, FAQ. Oh, okay, almost done here. So form block, I'm very curious to see what this is going to do. And then we should have form, nope, form block. Okay, so for some reason that didn't work. So import form block. Okay, so import. All right, so we need to look at our component for the form real quick. Component form. Import type form is form type. So what am I exporting this? This is, yeah, it's supposed to be form block. So again, we're having another collision. So we're going to do as form block type to match what we have in the actual form itself. So then I should be able to pull in our form block component. table intro, we'll set to true. It's not assignable to type boolean. Type null. Weird. All right, well, we'll come back to that one as well. So something's going on with the form block. We'll figure that out. So we got pain points component, sponsored block, sponsored block. Sponsored section was apparently what it's called. Don't know why I did that. Okay, then we have our steps, which will take steps component. Then we got steps with icons, which I know are not included in this blog post, but that's fine. Then we've got summary block. We've got summary. And then lastly, we've got our table of contents with our table of contents component. So now if I refresh this, form block may break stuff. We'll take a look. So maybe there's nothing in this one. Future blog test, maybe? Nope, future blog. One of these definitely has blocks in it. Not that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do terminal, do payload generate types, and then just in case we'll do import map as well. So when troubleshooting, I always just make sure to do this. I don't know if it actually does anything, but chances are I just need to enable the blocks somewhere. But let's go over to our dashboard as soon as it loads. Okay, so it's definitely not that. My hypersecure password. Okay. All right, so then we go to posts. And then no blocks there. Which one do I have open now? So lorem ipsum. So let's add blocks just to see what's going on. So form block. No, let's not do the form block because that's just too much of a wild card. I don't want to do any of these. Content, no media. Sure. Test. Testing. So now, if I refresh this one, eventually, okay, we're not seeing any blocks in this, and that is very strange that we're not seeing any blocks here. Node types, we do have serialized block node. It always works in the tutorial. It never works in real life. So let's just in case. Okay, so what's happening here? So we do have content no media block is active. It is in the JSX converter, and it is being used. So let's take a look at show usage real quick. Rich text converter in our rich text, yes. So then we go over to our blog, slug, and then we see our, oh, I still have serialized lexical here. That would do it. So rich text from my components, change this to data. This is what happens when you try to refactor a whole project. Things get missed. So if there's content, I think it's content.content maybe. So maybe it's not even content. Yeah, it should be content. We got content. Oh, is it rich text? Sure is. Okay, weird that I did that way, but that's all right. All right, so there's that. So that was working in general. So let's find our other blocks. And so here, form is not showing up. So there is an issue with form. Oh, no converters provided. This issue in particular was my fault. But okay, so the form works there within a block. Very strange. Very, very strange. What is this type error though? So type boolean is not assignable to type boolean. Null. But then if I set it to true, what is it expecting? Form block props enable intro boolean. So in here, and then I also need to put this as rich text. Again, things get missed. Data, data. Don't need root children. There we go. All right, so enable intro should be taking true just fine. Let's be excited about it. All right, enable intro. I don't know why it thinks it's getting null here, but that's fine. No biggie. So just because it's going to bother me, we'll do a TS ignore there. But we will figure out why that's happening. All right, so now let's go back to our home page. Maybe the form's just working now. If I even have a form on the home page, that could be potential as well. Let's go over here to our pages. I probably didn't. Let's just go to our contact page. That definitely has a form. Or it should have a form. All right, so I'm noticing the logo's missing in the footer. Let's take care of that real quick. You can see how focused I am. As soon as one thing breaks, I want to fix it instead of coming back to it. All right, footer. Oh, that should be an easy fix. Yep, there it is. All right. So all of that is good. So don't need that, don't need that. Just cleaning stuff up as we go. All right, so we come here. Let's go look at our contact page, which just has a single block that says content. Or sorry, contact. So our form block, which works in our JSX converter, but does not work in our render blocks. So let's take another look at our render blocks, which does not appear to be open anymore. So let's find it. Not rich text, so we got that working, that's fine. Render blocks. Oh, again, I do have it off. So let's take another look at our contact page. There it is. Okay. Self-imposed issues here. So let's take a look at this question again. Oh, thank you. So you're trying to get two buttons, one for a PDF and one for an Excel download in each collection. So you could have the ability to, I mean, they're uploads regardless, so you can use an upload field. The problem then is just figuring out how to associate the URL from that collection item, that media upload, to the button. And you could do that by setting in your collection a button where you take make a relationship between your media collection, your Excel, your PDFs, and then select for each button that relationship. It's pretty manual, so it's not going to be like an automated process. So I'm not exactly sure if that's exactly what you're looking for, but if I'm understanding you right, that's kind of how I would approach it. So let me know how that works out, if it was even close to what you were trying to do. All right, so that's the first big part of this stream. We wanted to make sure that we got our render blocks working. So let's go back over to our page. Okay, so not quite. Let's get this figured out. Okay, so it needs to have blocks. That makes sense. Type null is not assignable to type. So we want blocks. Not blocks, I'm sorry, page layout. So it's showing up. I'm not going to worry too much about this right now. So again, my favorite thing to do, TS ignore. Perfect. All right, so that is good for now. In fact, does that even happen when I go over to my blog and I have render blocks in here? Or do I not have render blocks? I don't, because it's built into my actual lexical thing. Rich text panel. Like in the, so if I go into this, I have my rich text field right here. Oh, are you talking about like the bar at the top? Yes, you are. Okay, so I can go back over that real quick. So if we go to our rich text, or sorry, to any of our configs, so we can go to, let's go to our form config, because I have it open. So let's see if I have it here. I do. So in our editor, we have our lexical editor defined right here. And so what I'm using there is the fixed toolbar feature, which allows the toolbar to stick there. And so you just need to import that from our fixed toolbar, or from rich text lexical fixed toolbar feature. I do have a rich text config video that goes over things like that. So if you need a little bit more information about the rich text configurations, I'd encourage you to look at that. I think that'll help you a lot. Okay, so now let's go back. Page, fine, whatever. Come back over here to our actual pages. So all of that is fixed. The next thing that I want to do is figure out what I'm going to do for in our both our footer and up here. I've got these industries that I work with, and so this is not a great visual experience, but regardless, so small businesses, real estate. And so right now we've got our industries. So it's right now linked to industries, like this one, for example, small business. But if I click on it, there's going to be not found because I don't have it configured yet. And so I'm not sure if I want to do a new collection. That seems a little bit overkill for what I'm trying to do. But I definitely think I need to do a new route. Let's take a look real quick at our pages. So we've got contact. I have this parent page thing here, which does have a load of different like in our actual relationship to other pages that I have. So what I could do is just create a new page, create new, and just create an industries page. Don't need a headline. I'll do some SEO stuff. just so there's an image. I need to add more images here. And there's going to be no parent page for this. We'll put this to be published. Nothing there. Content, don't need anything there. And then title, industries, boilerplate. Before I move forward, I might want to do an auto-generate on meta image. If I can do that down, it needs to be in my payload config. Then we will take a look here. Where's our SEO plugin? All right. So generate title, generate image. So I wonder, because I need to go over to my page config. I just didn't enable it, so we'll see. So again, I have a video coming out soon about the SEO plugin. That one I have not recorded yet, but I also know that that's a highly requested one. So I'll do that soon. All right, so then we have our SEO description. I don't think I have... where's my payload config? Did I close it? That was silly. So in order to have the auto-generate, we need to make sure that we have our generate description, or sorry, our generate functions here. Otherwise, I can't import them into our actual config. So now I can do has generate function, set this to true, and then do the same thing here, has generate function, set that to true. And so now I can set this back to industries, auto-generate, oops, industries, auto-generate the image, which does not exist. That was my bad. And then I don't have anything for the description either. Shoot. Okay. Well, let's, I don't even know where we would take the description from. Let's choose from existing. Do that. All right, we'll see if any of that worked. But regardless, we have our industries. Then I can save. Value must be unique. Which value? Weird. Let's refresh. Did somehow an industries page get created? No. So let's try that again. I think I just screwed some stuff up with that generate image. So industries, we'll choose from existing there. Do SEO, title. There's nothing to generate from description, just to not mix anything up again. Do that, hit save. All right, so now we have our industries page here. Great. So if I hit back, this page is already included. I don't really need it to be a standalone page. I may eventually do that, but regardless, we can now create a new page where we can do something like small business. And then we're going to set our parent page to be industries. Again, choose the same image we've been using, page status to published. And this is, we work with small businesses, affordable deals and flexible payments to make buying with us easy. And then we can do a CTA button, sure. I've been really liking the idea of doing relationships for links for anything that's internal, but we won't worry about that now. So we'll do contact and just set link to be whatever that was. Contact. And then we can set this to be is primary. And then we can set our content. We'll add a block where we'll just do we're not going to do anything too intense here. So let's just do content, no media. We work with small businesses. And so here you can see I don't have the panel always open, so you can access everything you need by doing the /. But I could add it to our pages config by doing the same thing that I showed earlier. But anyway, so we'll just do basic content. And we don't want to include the primary background color for this. And then for SEO, we'll auto-generate the title. And I don't have a summary to actually auto-generate, so I'll get rid of the auto-generate there. I hesitate to do auto-generate there. I will in a second, though. So let's save this just to see what happens. Do SEO, auto-generate. And we can get rid of this for the meta description, because I don't have anything to generate from. All right, so let's auto-generate that. Value must be unique. It's very interesting that it says that. I wonder, so if I go here, let's look at our API, because I think there's something with our payload config generate image. Yes, so if I go to edit, the image I have is outside of content, so I wonder if I can just do, I don't know if this is going to work. And if not, we can do image. I don't think I even need that. All right, do I need this one? Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and refresh this. All right, so that does not work. Well, let's see where the image is. So hero, content, meta. So parent page, great. Page status. All right, so where then is our image? Is it in the hero? It is. Okay, so we can do doc.hero. Try that again. Gotta make our stuff work. All right, auto-generate. Again, so value must be unique. Let's refresh, just in case. All right, save. All right, so that's not working like I want it to. That's okay with me. So we haven't even gotten to SEO stuff yet, so we will worry about that later. Let's go ahead and save that for now. Come over here and get rid of has generate function. And that is great. So contact 500. It's right there though. Why is there a server error? Okay, whatever you say. So now if I click on small business, nothing's still going to happen. And so here we need to figure out, then if we want to do industries, we definitely need to do either a catch-all slug for our pages, which would mess up some stuff, or we can just add in our pages a new TypeScript file. Well, it's going to be a JSX file that we'll call, oh no, it's going to be a directory first. So first, we're going to add a new directory called industries. I got to get my stand goal. The Apple Watch keeps me going, I guess. All right, so now we're going to create a new TypeScript file, again JSX, and we're going to do page.jsx. We're going to add, and I want to see something here because I think we can just use this same template here. Though, of course, well, maybe not. So, no, that's not going to work because I need to pull out the parent. No, I don't need to do that. So, we could do this is a catch-all. But our params become an array at that point. So I'm probably overthinking this a lot. What does this look like here? Is it worth organizing it this way? If I have parent page as a column, let's take a look at that. Parent page, I get industries, which is going to be, so in that case, yes, it does make it worth it to organize it this way. But let's just try it. We're here to experiment, right? This is live coding. We'll figure it out together. All right, so let's rename this to be a catch-all. Hit refactor. And so some stuff's going to break. I can guarantee that. Let's see if we can go back to the home page. Okay, so at least that didn't break. A required parameter slug was not provided as an array received. Oh, let's see. Hold on. All right, so here, if I go to contact, though, I get that. So slug is equal to home. Let's log our params promise just so we know what we're looking for here. I don't see our log. All right, well, let's go back to the home page then and see what we get. So I get nothing, which is fine. That means that our slug is equal to home. So I think okay, yeah. So I think this is too much trouble for what it's worth. So let's go ahead and just refactor, rename this back to slug. Refactor. Let it refresh. Make sure everything still works. It currently is not. But again, I did just jack up some stuff, so that's to be expected. Okay, so there's an issue in our page template because it's trying to take from that instead of there. All right, so that's back, that's running. We can open contact. Perfect. Okay. No, I have not done anything with Cursor or Claude, honestly. So I've not been too much into it because I know it's not exactly very context aware of PayloadCMS. So I feel like it would trip me up more than anything. So it is something that's on my list of tech to try. I would like to be a little bit more familiar with the AI tools that are available. But I really like, I'm using PyCharm because I actually started developing with Python. And PyCharm comes with WebStorm from JetBrains, so I'm just kind of locked into this. But I actually really like it, so it works out for me. All right, so we need in our pages to create new directory, which we'll just call industries. Oh, I already created it. Okay, so it's still there. So page. Great. So this is obviously not going to work because I need to bring in over slug page. Is that even the... Yeah, that's the template. Okay. So yeah, I don't think this template's going to work, and that is okay. So we're it may actually still work. So hold on. So if we do a new directory, because we need to pull in the slug of our industries, and we're not going to have an industries page specifically. So then, hey, look at that. Don't you just love when things work? Yeah, so this just works. I've got some basic content. The contact page is there. And so I didn't have to do anything because the template still works. This is like the blocks template, essentially. So I've got, I only have to update this major page. And since industries really fits into the same template where I'm just going to be adding blocks, this works perfectly. So I don't have to think too hard about that. So perfect. Love it. Great. I can actually see the SEO stuff has generated as well. And so I could even, or this is already the hero, so I could just build this out with more blocks as well. So we got that, but we need real estate now. So let's go ahead and create a new real estate page. We work with realtors, and I've had a couple of realtor clients and built their websites, so I do actually know that business pretty well. I worked in new home construction as well for a little while, so interesting place to work for sure. Again, we'll just use the same image. Parent page is going to go into industries and then published. So I wonder what'll happen. I have to check something real quick. I know I'm kind of talking in circles for a minute. I think this is not going to actually work like I want it to. But first, let's just add a new block. Let's do... No, I don't want to do a summary block. That's a cop-out. We'll do another one. We work with realtors. Yeah, I'll have to look into Cursor for documentation, because if it could pull this stuff up for me a little bit more easily, I'm all for that. I'm not like one of the AI doomers who think it's going to take my job. Obviously, live streaming code is probably going to take my job. But regardless, I do think it's going to be something that can help me become more productive, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I think I'll take your advice and take a look at it. I'll at least push it up on my tech to try list to make sure I can get to it. Generate leads for your realty practice. Nah. For your brokerage. Let's do that. All right. Perfect. So now I should be able to refresh. But what I think is going to happen, we work with realtors. Okay. So if I think if I do contact, it's going to pull up the contact page again. Yeah. So I don't want that to happen. So that means I have to think about that, what that means. As long as I don't link to it, it's not really a huge deal. And as long as I don't generate it into a sitemap, it's not really a huge deal. But I'd rather it not do that, because it doesn't really make sense to have that happen. So, interesting. Okay, so let's see here. How long have I been going? Oh, Lord. Oh, jeez. It's been a while. I'll give it a couple more minutes to think about this. So, let's see. I'm probably overthinking it. Actually, I'm definitely overthinking it. So if we want to do something where we just do industries / whatever's available, we need to find a way to check the parent parent slug. Okay. Or we create a new collection, which is not going to be stellar. I don't want to really do that when it's essentially just another page. So let's see. Industries slug page. So I think I just can't use the template, which is really not the end of the world. And so here's where live coding gets to me, because this problem I think I could solve if I just like worked on it for a little bit and just hashed it out. But I think I could still do a catch-all in the slug. I think I could query based on the parent slug and then have that be what's returned. But I don't think I can figure that out here live. So right now, I'm not really too concerned about it because there's no real way to get here or to the contact, like industry's contact, without, why is this doing this? I'm going to look into this too. So let me write down this error because I need to look into it. So reference error. So we have our industry pages. Field to show up for posts to show up on industry pages. All right, so actually we're going to, I think, have to do a new collection because what I want to do is this relationship field here where I'm going to be able to pull in the like blog posts that have the category related to our industry pages. So I like what we have. We're just going to create a new collection for industries where we're then going to just port everything over. But we're going to do that on the next one. So we're going to wind this down. I am in my own time going to look into this error. And then next time we will continue to build out industry pages by creating a new collection. And then create new collection, then have a new relationship field for posts to show up on category pages or on industry pages, which means then we need to have our category. What is this saying? Value must be unique. Okay, I keep getting that too, but I think that's just from an update. So we've got our related docs here. We need categories that are going to have a way of indicating if it's for an industry, or we could just do our industry pages or our industries as a category. So let's do that. So we'll do create a new collection, add industry categories, and then we will render industry posts on industry pages based on category. And I think that's a good place to take it for next time. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. I want to thank everyone for coming, for watching. I enjoyed talking with some of you, so thanks for interacting with the chat. If this was helpful in any way, I know some of it was kind of like a start and a stop for a little bit as I was trying to figure out some of the errors that I was getting. But again, I do have more streamlined tutorials coming out. One comes out tomorrow for the email configuration. Really excited to see how that one does. It's been, again, one of the top asked questions that I've gotten. So really excited for that video to come out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free. Questions, suggestions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Hit the bell for notifications to make sure that you never miss when I go live, or drop a video about PayloadCMS, NextJS, more. I plan on doing things around Astro as well, just new things that I want to try and show people how to use. So I'm looking forward to this next one where we're going to go through and finish our industry pages. But for now, I think that's it for this one. I've been going for almost an hour and a half nonstop. And I definitely need a break. My eyes are going a little crossed. So thanks everyone for joining. I'll see you on the next one.